is safe. Chris Barber gets to keep his truck. Australia's cracking down on hate speech. Top General, Canada's ready for war, while 10 cities are exploding everywhere. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are the political orphans. I shouldn't have been laughing at that part. While 10 cities exploding everywhere, the only reason I was laughing at that is because of your face when I said Canada's ready for war.
Yeah. War on the fucking all-you-can-eat buffet table, maybe.
You know, man, they want to go to war with they want to help Ukraine. They want to go to Poland. They think they're going to fight you. They're going to fight Russia.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're hearing a lot of that drumbeat of war. It's always unnamed sources, right? Sources say that Russia's intent is to invade. I don't believe for a second Russia wants to invade Europe. There's no way that they could see that ending well for them.
No, 100%. That would actually get the U.S. involved. They wouldn't have a choice to get involved. So no, they don't care. They don't care. They have the biggest country on the planet. They don't care about Europe at all. Most people don't care about Europe. Sorry, Europe. Most people don't care about Europe anymore. But they're not really bringing anything much to the equation. Like outside of Poland, I actually really like the direction that Poland is going. But
Poland, it's funny too. Poland, I think they've accepted like $1 million a day fine or €1 million a day for not accepting
Muslims,
Muslim migrants. Yeah,
yeah,
and they're doing great. Right. Smart on.
They're a Christian country. Their leader is a Christian, has no shame in saying it, and wants to keep that
way. Yeah,
and he says that Muslim values are not compatible with Christian values, and I couldn't agree with him more. And it's refreshing to see a leader actually say that out loud. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot of common sense to realize that those two religions are not, but Muslims do not get along with anybody else when they get about 10% of the power.
Yeah. Well, all you gotta do is look at history, right? Look at Lebanon.
How they're, Iran.
Yeah. Iran's a great example. I mean, Iran was not. I think a lot of people think is historically Muslim. It's not.
No, it's
Iranians
since the 70s.
Persians. Yeah, they're Persians. They're not Arabs. Well, they might be now, but historically, that's not. Yeah, it was a takeover. Absolutely, it was.
Yep, 100%. Main story of the day, of course, we had to cover that because we've had Chris Barber on the show before. I was actually talking to him yesterday or 2 days ago when I saw the decision, because the JCCF, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom, was working with Chris Barber in order for him to keep his truck. So we'll start right there. Here is the announcement that they made yesterday to the court. The Ontario Court of Justice has dismissed the Crown application to forfeit the truck of Peaceful Freedom Convoy organizer Chris Barber. Mr. Barber's 2004 Kenworth long-haul truck, known as Big Red, is his primary source of income, and for him and his family, obviously. So he gets to keep it. That's great news for him. He didn't deserve to lose his truck for what he did. I texted with him yesterday. He seemed... Hold on, let me quote the words that he used, his exact words, because I'm like, just heard of the good news, man. Congratulations, brother. Thank you. My nerves are shut. So I can imagine, right? People don't understand that the process is often the punishment, and this is years in the making.
Yeah. I mean, how much income has he forfeited just in not having access to his truck for the last 2-3 years or whatnot, or has he been allowed to use it while he's
no, he's been allowed to use it. He's been allowed to use it. It's just that he's had many trips going from Saskatchewan to Ottawa regarding this, and it's the stress level, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I also we have him for sure coming on the show tomorrow to speak about this, like just 10,
Nice.
15 minutes, see how he's doing
Yep.
at 8:15 tomorrow. So guys, make sure to join the show tomorrow, 8:15 Eastern time. And I don't know why when I was talking to him, was it yesterday or the day before? I didn't ask. It was on Friday actually. I didn't ask him to come on the show. Because tonight I'm like, hey, do you have time tomorrow? I'm like, why the fuck didn't I just ask him to come on the show today? Mama. So he's gonna join us. Worst case scenario, he's gonna join us tonight. He has an interview at right now. So if he's done early, he's gonna jump on.
Oh, he might come on. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he might come on. No promises, but he might come on today. He'll definitely be on the show tomorrow. But yeah, I needed to speak about this just to at least mention it because this is a big deal. He didn't deserve to lose his truck. What he did during the convoy was great. He was very respectful. I'm a fan. I like the guy. He's just a cool dude. It's hard not to like him. He's big boy, super polite. He's a big farmer guy. Love the guy. Like, I just love what he stands for. I like him.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't followed his story too much. Most of what I know is just him being on the show here. But yeah, I enjoyed having him on. Like, he's a good, cool guy.
He's just a good dude.
Yeah, just a fun guy to talk to.
He's a father. He's a Christian. He's a business owner. He's just a regular dude that is implication in the Freedom Convoy got kind of out of hand, as in the exposure that he got. His truck is now recognized everywhere. If you think of the convoy, you think of Big Red, the Chris Barber's truck, right? So that's why they went after his truck, obviously. But yeah, so we're gonna have him tomorrow. Maybe tonight. Stick around. You'll figure it out. Maybe tonight.
It'll be a surprise.
Surprise. Yep. So definitely wanted to talk about that. There's a couple other subjects that I want to cover. And then I did a deep dive in something earlier. I just read an article on the Epoch Times.
went down another rabbit hole, did you? All right. What is this?
Well, I'm going to keep it for the end. Like, I'll keep it for the last 20, 30 minutes. But there was an article in the Epoch Times, I'll show it to you later, where they're just saying, basically the headline is 5 years ago, 10 cities didn't exist. Today, they're everywhere. And 5 years, that's not a lot of time. We're talking 2020 to 2025. And I just went down the rabbit hole as to how did we get where we are today. And man, the statistics are not good. Well, it's not good.
Yeah, and if you're in a big city that has a sort of well-known homeless problem anyways already, like say Vancouver, Toronto, you probably would have noticed Montreal, an increase in it. But I think it's most noticeable in places like where I am out on the East Coast. I was living in New Brunswick for most of the last 5 years. Places like Fredericton, St. John, you never see anyone living on the streets, and now you've got 10 cities in places where you didn't even have homeless problems before. So yeah, it really is everywhere, and it's noticeable.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we're going to cover this. It's one of those, if you're new to the show, if you've never listened to this show before, I go down rabbit holes all the time. I find an article, I find something that people are not addressing that needs more attention, and I just do a bunch of research. I'll just present facts and we can talk about it then. But it's it's kind of troubling, man. What I found is troubling. I don't like it. I'm not too sure what the real solution is for it, but yeah, we're gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's certainly worth the chat. I mean, I think, and I don't know if in your research, if you found the number, we could probably Google it as we talk. I don't think it's that hard, but I bet you like spending has probably increased a lot on homelessness over the last 5, 10, 15 years. So what are we getting for the money, right? Like you see California spends billions of dollars a year on homeless, and they have an epidemic of homelessness. So something's not working, right? And I think what's going on is a lot of the ways we're tackling these problems is from the left, right? Society has been tackling problems with left-wing solutions, liberal solutions over the last 10 years, 15, 20 years. And at some point, even if you are a liberal, we need to start asking ourselves, when is enough to say that we know for sure this just isn't working, right? When do we can't keep doing the same thing again and again and again, right?
And expect, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is insanity right there. But you'll see what I found, and you'll understand why it's important to talk about it, because when you start looking at the demography of the people that are homeless, it's not necessarily what we expect to see. This is the problem. This is what I want to address. One story that we have to touch quickly is what's going on in Australia. I don't know. You know, I think it was last week. Yeah, I think it was on the 15th.
Was the social media?
So social media got banned for teenagers and kids under the age of 16. Yeah. Here is what they're now announcing in Australia. Bro, like, what the fuck is going on? It escalated quickly.
Does it? Okay.
Well, because it started with, because again, people, you have to understand that in order for you to block people under the age of 16, that means that everybody needs to show that they're above 16 years. That's the point, right? You have to show that you're older than 16 or 16 and older. So now that everybody that's online in Australia has to get a government ID, has to attach their account to the government ID. So now the government knows who you are. There's no mistake because you have to authenticate yourself. So now they know whatever username is out there, they have the proof that it's you. Here is Australia telling us what is coming to their hate speech process. It's hard for me to believe that this is real, but listen to this.
Okay.
The National Security Investigations teams are a flying squad of hate disruptors who focus on high harm, high impact, politically motivated violence, communal violence, and hate crimes that don't meet the threshold for terrorism investigations, but that we know drive fear and division. This is all about stopping hate and division earlier and well before it leads to violence. So far, this crack squad has charged 14 individuals across 13 investigations, and of those, 4 individuals across 4 operations were charged for offences relating to anti-Semitism. The teams were responsible for a recent week-long national blitz on the distribution and display of prohibited symbols, and for charging a passenger who only this week allegedly threatened violence toward a member of the Jewish community on a flight from Bali to Sydney. The announcement today to boost the numbers of our hate disruptors, as well as planned changes to lower the threshold for hate speech, will make it easier for the AFP to take action quicker. It could be the difference between us just knocking on a door to warn an individual to an individual being placed in handcuffs. Essentially, the National Security Investigations teams
like it's a good thing. Like it's a good thing to put people in handcuffs for
the hate disruptors is the new name of the government group.
Is that
the hate disrupt?
How
is that not dystopian? Yes.
Yeah, that is Orwellian as fuck.
And it's funny because that was the title when I saw this video on X first, and then I found it on Instagram, and that's exactly what it is. It's like, welcome to 1984 Orwell.
Yeah. It's
the hate disruptors. The hate disruptors.
That is crazy, man. I'm really shocked that people are watching what's going on in the UK and saying, yeah, we got to start doing that. Yeah, we need some of us, or we need some of that over here. I don't understand. I thought the UK thing was such a debacle that even left-wing governments across the West might think twice, because it's crazy what's going on in the UK. And I got a feeling Australia's going to be even worse. And fuck, Canada might be next. Like this is the hill to die on, man. You can't, I'm far more worried about policing, so-called hate speech, which we know from looking in the UK, we know it's not really hate speech. A lot of the time, it's just speech that goes against approved narratives. So you've got people in the UK getting arrested for saying that men can't have penises, or sorry, women women can have penises, and men can give men can't give birth, right? So it's it's very disturbing. It makes you wonder who's pulling the strings here, because like where's the demand for this coming from, right? Even among rank and file liberals, I don't really see or hear a lot of people demanding this. This is top down. This is not coming from any. Now, what people are actually demanding is stopping crime, right? Put resources into stopping actual crime. And now they're going to put resources that no one demanded for to go out and put people in handcuffs for people, for hurt feelings, for memes on social media. This is crazy.
I don't know if you paid attention, but she mentioned political violence. So basically, and violence, what is violence, right? Because words are violent now. So does that mean that speech against your government is now problematic and will be shut down? Because that was the first thing that she mentioned. And she called them that new department, that new team that they're putting together, flying squad of hate disruptors.
Yeah,
those were her words. And their job is to intervene early to stop hate and division before it escalates to violence.
I love that. Stop division. Oh, as if that's not going to be divisive. Putting people in prison for fucking memes. That won't be divisive at all. These people.
No, of course not.
These clowns.
So and here's the message I have for Canadians. There's 3 steps going on right now. If you take a look at Canada, Australia, and the UK, what do we have in common? 3 countries on the path of government censorship, but all at different stages. The UK, between 2023 and 2024, they arrested over 23,000 people for social media posts. They average about 12,000 like in 2025, but the number is not out yet. But experts are saying 12,000 a year is what we're seeing in the UK.
That's crazy.
Since 2023. Then you have Australia that's saying that they've implemented flying squads of hate disruptors to intervene early to stop hate and division before it escalates to violence. And the first type of violence she describes is political violence. So what? Basically, I can't talk against the government anymore. And then you have Canada that's in the earlier stages, but our government has already passed internet censorship bills C11, C18 under Trudeau. Those are the News Act and what can be streamed online, giving the CRTC permission to stop some type of content that they don't like. Now they're trying to pass C2, C8, C9, C16, and there's a new version of C63, which is the Online Harms Act that's going to be retabled in the new year. So I don't know what it's going to take for the average Canadian to realize that we're going there. This is not me being paranoid. This is not a conspiracy theory at this point. People need to stop being naive into believing that this is not going to happen here. We're seeing it in front of our eyes. How did the UK get to the UK? They passed censorship bills and surveillance bills. How did they get from Canada to the UK? Australia how did they go to becoming the UK? They started like Canada, spent those bills. Then they acted on those bills. That's what you're seeing in Australia. And they became the UK. Right now, I could not find any reports of people being arrested in Australia for memes, for social media posts. There's not a place. I'm not saying it didn't happen. So there's probably reports somewhere, but it was highly targeted at big individuals, right? Like people that were trending, people that were known. But the average person, grandmother, is not getting a knock at 2:00 in the morning for a post she said on Facebook, right? I'm very curious now that they have the power to do so, now that they're confiscating even more guns after the Bondi Beach shooting. last week because they claimed it anti-Semitism. So now they're cracking down on anti-Semitism in Australia. So they're going to use that as the main focus of their hate speech. But everything really can be anti-Semitism if you want to. But right now, I can find one report in in Australia. Let's see in a year from now. I guarantee you that if there's 12,000 a year, and I think they're around 60 million in the UK, and they're about 28 million from memory in Australia, so they're about half the population. Don't be surprised if next year there's 6,000 arrests or more. Maybe the ratio is going to be even bigger. But Canadians need to stop. They need to stop lying to themselves that this is not coming, because this is how it starts. Censorship bills. Once those bills are implemented, they put team together like the flying squad of hate disruptors, and then you become the UK. This is how it works.
Yeah, no, it definitely, I think the observation there that it's basically the same policies at different stages is a good one. In some ways that could be beneficial if we're actually watching what's happening in those countries and course correcting, but that's not what we're doing.
No,
but these are I think people need to wake up. These aren't this isn't just like enforcing like tighter enforcement of laws that kind of already existed. This is creating a whole new class of laws to arrest people for. And it's a very vague and a very broad net that they're cast, and it's intentionally vague and intentionally broad.
Of course.
One thing we talk about a lot here is the wording. The wording for the Canadian bills. I don't know what the wording is in Australia or the UK, but the wording is like, what was it? It defines hate as a negative emotion that is, what was it? Stronger than disdain.
Stronger than disdain. Yeah.
Stronger than disdain. That's in a bill. That's in a law that they're going to possibly arrest you for and charge you in a court of law. How do you prove that? How can you have a standard of proof for something like if this action rose to the level of more than disdain, right? And it's so vague that it basically just puts all the power in judges, in politicians and prosecutors, because they can make anything hate with those, So, if I'm chirping some guy on X, let's say we're watching the Super Bowl and his team loses, and I make fun of him, and he feels a negative emotion worse than disdain. Now, obviously, they're not going to go after that kind of stuff, but I'm just using that as an example. It could be literally anything, and that's what's really scary about it. I think everyone needs to pay attention to this. When she said most of these were anti-Semitism, I'm really curious as to what they mean by that. Do they mean anti-Semitism like pro-Palestinian protesters chanting from the river to the sea? Because I suspect it is not that kind of anti-Semitism.
I agree. But remember what Bruce Party said when he came on the show, that they're trying to criminalize emotions. That is literally what the definition of hate speech is.
Yeah, and you can't do
that.
That's a great point. So that's a better way of trying to make my point. It's an entirely new class of laws. Up until now, every law that we all understand as laws are based on actions, right? Not even results, but actions. And sometimes results. If I go in and stab some guy and he dies, and then I stab another guy and he doesn't die, I'll still be charged, but the charge will be different because of the outcome, right? One died, one didn't. But the fact is, these are all things that exist. The guy either did die or he did not. I either did stab one or I did not. That's something that can be proven in a court of law. And most people understand that laws are meant to criminalize behavior. But now we have a whole class of laws that is criminalizing emotions. It's criminalizing thoughts. And this is not just adding a few new laws here and there. This is a completely massive fundamental change to our justice system. And people really need to wake the fuck up here.
100%. And I don't remember ever seeing Dino 333 on the show. Welcome. But I wish I could take credit for this one, but that was Bruce Party that said criminalizing emotion. It's very well said. But that's exactly what it is. You are criminalizing emotions because it's what is more than disdain. It's an emotion. Disdain's an emotion. It's not a physical thing. So it's absolutely insane. But we're definitely Canadians. The average Canadian needs to wake the fuck up to this because this is here. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a movie. It's not science fiction. It is here. And those bills are trying to get are in Parliament right now. And that same government that's trying to push those bills through are one seat away from a majority. If they gain that one majority seat that they need, and they will, believe me, the next few months it's going to happen, it's just a matter of time, they will be able to push those bills uncontested. So overnight, like literally within 6 months, Canada could go from somewhat having free speech to people getting arrested for something they posted online. And guys, if you judge by Bill C-63, it hasn't been retabled yet, but there wasn't any timestamp. So there's no time limit. They can go back to, like me, for example, I talk about this stuff every day. So hate, technically, as per their definition, I am somebody that produces hate every single day. I'm as hateful as they get because I talk about stuff that I don't care if it hurts your feelings.
Yes.
There's no limit to the time frame that they can go back. And if you remember when we talked about John Carpe this week about this, there's also no facing your accuser. It's anonymous. In Bill C-63, somebody can put a complaint on you anonymously. Yeah. You will not get to face your accuser. This is absolutely insane, but this is what's going on right now. Yep. Do you want to take some of the comments that we're getting?
Yeah, we'll get a couple comments. We got some good comments coming in there, but yeah, I think there's a a sense of like, oh, I'm sure it won't be that bad. It can't happen here. I can promise you. I see it every day on X. There are people in the UK who are saying, "I can't believe this is happening. I never thought this would happen here." So it's not.
It's coming.
Those people have this. The people in the UK have the same feelings, but every day now we're seeing videos of 4, 5, 6 cops knocking on. Like in Australia, you said they're going after the big accounts, which makes sense at the very beginning. But in the UK, they're just knocking. They're knocking on mom and pop store. They're knocking on Grandma Jones. There's
30 people cops a day. The estimates right now is 30 people a day are getting arrested for social media posts. That's the estimate.
Hate speech, and most of it is related to. Much of it is related to just criticizing policy. Like they're calling, if you criticize immigration policy, they're calling that hate speech, right? Or even just heat of the moment stuff. There was two young girls were raped by migrants in a town in the UK. I think it was Rotterdam. And, the locals were understandably upset. And there was, I saw the story yesterday. There was a guy who wrote a post kind of like, send them all back or something like, maybe it was a bit crude, but it certainly is his right to say that. He certainly is allowed to believe that they should send migrants back, whether you agree with that or not. It was, it had been viewed by 38 people before he deleted it, and he got 2 years in jail. And this shit is and his fucking brother-in-law turned him in. So that that gives you, like, if you know your history of, like, super repressive communist regimes, the Soviet Union, the Stasi in East Germany after the Iron Curtain dropped in Europe. That was a feature of those systems was you couldn't trust anybody because your family was turning you in, was reporting you. So there's a lot of scary stuff here. We'll take a couple.
Just look at 1984 by George Orwell. They train your children to report on you. So even at a home, between the walls of your own home, you're not safe. And what is something that we've seen our education system become? Indoctrination. Would you be very surprised that the kids are? the trends agenda is basically pushing the idea that not telling your parents certain things about you changing your name at school or changing your pronouns at school shouldn't be discussed with your parent. That's what our education system is telling our children right now. How long before it becomes, are your parents talking against the government at home? You should let us know, because this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that, but that's what they talk about in 1984 by George Orwell, right? That is one of the things you're not even safe at home.
Yeah.
What
And
happened during COVID?
That's intentional,
What happened?
right? That's intentional.
Of course, you have eyes, you have ears and eyes everywhere. And look at what happened during COVID. Neighbors were reporting on their neighbors because there were too many people in the driveway. Too many people were available were there, and they're like, you know what? No, sorry. You're too many people there. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to report you because there's too many cars. Those cars are not normally there. You're too many people for Christmas. So bye. We're gonna call the cops. So the government doesn't even need to be everywhere. You can just train the people to report on others, vilify them enough, they'll report on you.
Yeah. And that's by design. They want you scared. They want you terrified. Now we're going to take some comments, but just before we do, I just want to quickly share this here. This is just a story of the story I was just talking about, because I wanted to make sure I had the facts right. Just because I think a lot of people really don't think this kind of stuff is going on. I'll zoom in a little bit, but it says, man jailed for anti-immigrant post viewed 33 times. Luke Yarwood, a 36-year-old UK resident, has been sentenced to over a year in prison for making 2 social media posts inciting racial hatred and anti-immigrant sentiment. And it was because a man drove a car into a busy outdoor Christmas market in Magdeburg, Germany on December 20th of last year, killing 6 people. The suspect was, of course, a Muslim immigrant, a terrorist. And the guy made a post that was anti-immigrant, which is his fucking right. And he got sent to a year in prison. So this shit is happening. It was viewed 33 fucking times. This is not what Australia is doing, going after the big fish. And I suspect I don't know when the UK started this crackdown, but they probably went after the big fish first too, right? You go after the big ones first, but Australia will soon be going after these ones. This post was viewed 33 times, and he was criticizing immigration. He said some version of send them all back, right? And I'm sure he said it in more crude terms, but who gives a fuck? You need to be able to have the right to be crude, to be rude, to even be hateful if you want to be, right? The potential repercussions of enforcing laws like this is so much worse than whatever the repercussions of any fucking mean tweet ever could be.
Agreed. By the way, guys, so Chris Barber is going to join us. So he's on his way right now. So we will have Chris Barber to talk about his win. Yes, sir. Nice. So last minute invitation, and he's joining us. But I just want to add to this because I'm trying to get the food professor to come back on the show tomorrow in order to speak about the new demands from the US when it comes to CUSMA. They're asking in order to keep CUSMA in place, because we're having our first evaluation of CUSMA next year with the US to see are we keeping it in place or not. 600, I calculated it last week. It's not, I've been saying $600 billion. I was incorrect. The US-Canada trade deal called part of CUSMA is worth between 900 and 950 billion dollars when you count what the US buys, what we buy from them, and the services that are exchanged between the countries. So one of the things that they asked for, and that's because of Wilf actually texted me on Facebook today, asking if we've ever covered that. So I reached out to Sylvain, the food professor. He's going to come up tomorrow to talk about, because they want to have access to our dairy market. But in order to do that, that would mean that Mark Carney would have to destroy our how do you call it? Our cheese cartel or dairy cartel, or our supply management is the proper term.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah.
So I want him to come on the show to talk about how would that happen and what does he think about this, because he's the Canadian expert on our dairy cartel, on our supply management, because he's been in Parliament many times in committees as an expert to talk about this. So he's going to join us tomorrow. Also, on Saturday, I just want to talk about this to people because we're going to have a remigration episode as one of our mashups. So we're going to have representative of some of the two big groups in Canada that are promoting remigration. Some are more extreme than others. We're going to have people that don't believe in it. We're going to have people that believe in it. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting. We might have a very well-known politician to join us. I'm not sure. I'm not naming names, but we might have a politician joining us to speak about this. And we will have representative of the two biggest groups in Canada. But it's going to be an interesting
sort of, because I'm curious when people say remigration, what do we mean? Because there's a few that could mean several different things, right? That could mean literally, like, on one end, just deporting people who have committed crimes or say citizens. On the other end, you could just literally strip citizenship of all naturalized citizens and send them on their way. And obviously those are pretty two extremes. So I like to see where these groups are standing and what they're actually advocating, because I certainly could be persuaded in something like I would not support something like just blanket stripping of all naturalized citizens and kicking them out. But something like if you're a naturalized citizen, you commit a serious crime, a felony crime, I'm supportive of kicking them the fuck out.
We'll see. That's what I want to know.
Not yet a citizen commits any type of crime. Should be
bye. So we'll see what they mean. That's the whole point. Question. Is remigration is a term that is getting more and more talked about, and we want to address it. It's getting traction, and we want to be able to present it from all perspective, have an honest conversation about what it is, what it means. Is it possible or not? Is it bigger than we think? Either way, the point of the matter is, on Saturday we're gonna have one of our Saturday night mashup. Jason Levine and I, we're gonna have some really good guests, and hopefully we get the politician that I'm thinking of, because he's been talking about this since 2018. So he's been talking about some type of remigration for a long time. But we'll see. It's gonna be a very, very cool episode. So Saturday, 9 to 11 p.m. Guys, we got a special treat for you guys. As we said at the beginning of the show, Big Red is safe. Chris Barber gets to keep his truck. And I was texting with him on Friday, congratulating him. And today I'm like, why the fuck did you not invite him on? Well, he joins us right now. Mr. Chris Barber.
Hey, guys.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Good to see you both.
Yeah, congrats on the big win.
Appreciate it. I can't really believe we're celebrating this right now. We're celebrating the fact that the government didn't take a guy's livelihood for whatever. Yeah, I appreciate all the support.
Yeah,
I appreciate it's like when we stop and think about it for a minute, I'm like, we're celebrating the fact that
it should have never got this far.
No, I don't know. It's been a long road. Friday was an emotionally draining day. Like I said in my social media posts, the morning we had a hearing at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and then she didn't get through the full hearing, so she had to postpone until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I put another couple hundred miles on driving in the States, and man, by the time the decision came out on Friday afternoon, I was just burnt. So I parked the truck and shut her off and went and had a couple beers and some supper and went to bed early, and just I've just been vegging ever since.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As we say all the time, the process has become the punishment. Even though you get to keep your truck, you get to keep your main source of income, that doesn't mean that it's been an easy ride. That's been going on. How long has this been going on, and how much did it actually cost you up to now?
Oh, between all the trials,
Yep.
thankfully we've got an amazing support system behind me, and most of Canada is standing behind us. The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms has been there right from the start, helping us along. But a lot of people don't know this one just for the truck forfeiture, because we involved a second defense mechanism when Brendan Miller, our POAC lawyer, and that was for my parents and my son and my company. That bill has been quite significant. So I think we were over 50,000 at the last time we seen just on legal bills. We're waiting for the final tally on it here so we can see where we're sitting. JCCF obviously covered my main criminal lawyer, Diane Magus. So appreciate everybody reaching out to the JCCF and supporting them. John Carpe runs an amazing organization there. I got to make sure I give special props to them. Democracy Fund has been helping Tamara out with her stuff. They've helped so many other people out along the way too. So we have to, keep checking their websites and seeing who they're trying to stand with in this country, because there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, we have John Carpe on the show all the time. Every single time they come up with a new report, we have them on. Big fan of the JCCF, big fan of John Carpe, big fan of the work that they do. So
Amazing.
Awesome that you 100%. And it's unfortunate that we need associations like those, but unfortunately, this is where we're headed. And we were just talking about what's going on in Australia. I don't know if you heard about that, but they're putting new. They're putting new. I guess we can call it a new police department that they're going to go after hate speech on social media posts, similar to what the UK's been doing. And considering that our government here is trying to push Bill C2, C8, C9, C16, a new C63, it's not looking good for us. And your story is one of those that should wake Canadians up, because what happened to you was done under the Emergency Act that was proven by the JCCF in court to be unconstitutional.
Yep. I'll remind everybody too that the federal government appealed that ruling, Justice Mosley's ruling, in 20 minutes. That's a 200-page document. I don't know about you. I can't read that fast.
The one
I'm not laughing because it's funny.
They've appealed that?
They did 20 minutes after Justice Mosley ruled that the Emergencies Act was used unconstitutionally in Canadian law. They appealed it. Like Christine Freeland was on a news conference minutes later saying we're appealing this, and they didn't even have time to read the decision yet. So.
But he's not, Rob, just so you know, he's not talking about his truck, right? He's talking about about the government using the Emergency Act unconstitutionally during the Freedom Convoy. So this is something that's been done. That was a couple of years ago, but it's not about his truck. His truck, they haven't appealed anything, right?
No, the sentence on the truck the verdict on the truck just came down on Friday. So they've got 30 days now to appeal that ruling by the judge. She was very outlined. It was a 40-page document that she did in the truck's decision. So hopefully, if the Ontario Attorney General's office has a little bit of thought process in their minds, which I don't know if they do anymore, they will just drop it and walk away from it. They've looked like foolish, and they've been acting in bad faith. I will be the one to say that, and I've seen it for quite some time now. So hopefully they leave this alone. Let me get on with my day and keep working like I've done for the last 40 years in this country.
Man, I've asked you this when we recorded you and I. I've asked you this when we recorded you and I, but I'd like to ask you again on this show. Do you regret what you did? Would you do it again? If knowing what's happening right now, would you play it differently? Would you redo it? Do you regret what happened, or you'd still go through with it?
I would choose my words different. I would choose my social media posts different if I was to redo this all again. I can't say I regret anything, because in my mind I didn't do anything wrong. I worked with law enforcement. I listened to direction from law enforcement. The wrong that was done during the Freedom Convoy is on the federal government, the city of Ottawa's hands, for putting everyone in a bad position like that and not taking any accountability and actually having a conversation with 500,000 or 1 million people that showed up in front of Parliament Hill, in those cold, frigid winter days in Canada. I speak with so many people across this country when I'm out trucking or at the grocery store or wherever, people that tell me their stories of desperation through COVID. And I don't think the government was going to relinquish any of those mandates and rules that were in place during those tyrannical measurable times. So we made a difference. We were the flame that lit, a spark that lit the flame all around the world and woke a lot of different countries up. And because of that, I can never say that I'm sorry, because I'm not going to apologize to any of the people that were wrong during the COVID mandates. Those are the people that we stood for, and those are the people that we stand for to this day. And the more I see of these unexpected deaths, these it's there. I don't know too many people right now that are healthy after the whats. So evident now why we did what we did, and I'll stand on my ground. That'll be the hill that I die on.
Yeah, no doubt. So Chris, what's next for you? Are you going to just kind of take some time out of the public eye and drive the truck and be with the family, or are you going to get out there and be kind of tell your story a bit more and get your voice heard?
I guess house arrest is the main thing right now. I'm under 12 months of house arrest. That started in October 7th. Yeah, right. So I've got till next October I'll be off my 12 months of house arrest, and I'll enter my phase of curfew, I guess, from 10 o'clock p.m. till 5 o'clock a.m. I have to be home for 6 months. So it'll be May of 2027 before I have my life back. So for the next 10 months now, I have to schedule all of the work that I do. I'm always working on something. I've been in the shop today. I've been in the office. We just got home from trucking last week. I went to Wisconsin last week for a tractor for a customer. So I'll take some time off for the holidays here, and I'll just keep doing this. If you guys ever want me on the show, and there's many people out there that are reaching out for interviews, I can always do it via Zoom. My leisure time, I'm given about 6 hours of leisure time per week. So I've been planning those out with my wife. Last week we went for a couples massage and supper, and then just kind of hanging around the farm. I live on a farm, and we've got about 2,500 acres here. I've got animals, I've got a shop and barns, I've got lots of stuff to keep me busy, and I just post my social media stuff and kind of do my thing from there.
Chris, we don't want to take much of your time because it is around Christmas and you deserve to be with your family. But I want to ask you one more question that you can choose not to answer. I don't want to put you in any type of trouble, but I think you're starting to know the type of person that exactly. Here we go. But I think you're starting to see the type of guy that I am. Do you, considering the impact that you guys had during the COVID mandates, that you guys, yes, you got smacked in the face, but you did make a massive difference. God knows where we would be today if you guys didn't do what you did. And the COVID was one thing, but what's coming down the pipe in the new year when it comes to censorship bills, to me, is like 10 times worse. 100. I can't even think of something that is worse than getting the type of censorship bills that they're trying to pass. Do you think that another convoy is going to be needed in order to change the way you guys did during the lockdowns?
I can tell you personally that I probably won't be part of it. I'm wearing the t-shirt from the last one that I took part in, and I've been run through the courts. I've been run through, I've had people death threats. I've had just about everything. So I will gladly return to my work. I don't know if a convoy to Ottawa will solve anything. What I'm working on right now is the Saskatchewan Prosperity Project, which is an independence. It's sovereignty for the West. I never thought I'd be saying this right now. From what we've seen during Freedom Convoy, with all those, thousands of Canadians standing on the side of the highway cheering us on as we went there. But when I look at the government and the last election, as well as the recent budget that was passed, and now people crossing the floor and the potential for a majority for the Liberals, I can tell you that I've lost faith in this government. I've lost faith in the city of Ottawa and all the bureaucrats and bullshit that goes on inside that city, and how they try and control every aspect of Canadians' lives, especially us in the West. There's a huge difference between the ideology between downtown Ottawa and prairies, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Huge. It's like night and day difference. We're never going to be able to come to compromise on bridging that gap. And so why? It's time. If you're in an unhealthy relationship and an abusive relationship, you don't stay in it. You find a better avenue forward. And I believe that's where we are right now between, Alberta, Saskatchewan, northern BC is a good place, and some of Manitoba. So there's people out here that want change. it saddens me that Canada's in a state right now that we have to even have this conversation. So that's, going forward, I will be promoting some of that. And I just want to, if anything, it's the conversation that needs to take place. We need to have this discussion now.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
It seems to be the best avenue for Alberta. It seems to be the best avenue for Saskatchewan. There's such a massive difference between the way you guys think out west and Ottawa, or is it just that Ottawa is so far gone that there's nothing to do? Like you said, it's such an abusive relationship. Until when do you stay when you're getting battered left, right, and center? At one point, you need to call it quits.
Somebody pointed this out to me a little while ago, the symbol for the city of Ottawa. And when you look at the symbol of the city of Ottawa, you see it and you can't unsee it. If you want to look at the fact that Christianity has taken a downturn in this country in the last number of years, and then you look at the symbol of Ottawa, you'll understand and realize why. It is basically demonic.
It doesn't surprise me, man. One of the things, though, it's interesting that you talk about, because you're from Saskatchewan. And we saw what happened with Daniel Smith over the past few weeks. The fact that she's trying to sign an MOU that is basically endorsing the 2050 net zero agenda, the WEF's 2050 net zero agenda, carbon capture on top of massive carbon taxes, about a pipeline that will never get built because it will drive the price 20 to 30% above the world's market. So basically she's crucifying Alberta in order to stay into Canada. But from what I've heard from your premier, from what I've heard from Scott Moe, he seems to be a bit different. He's still a politician, and I don't trust politicians. I don't like politicians. In my book, they're all corrupt. I'm very curious to see how he would handle such a movement, how he would react to it. I'm very curious to see it.
I guess when it comes down to the conversation about sovereignty in Saskatchewan, our rules are set up different than what they are in Alberta. It's basically impossible right now, unless we change the current legislation in Saskatchewan, to adapt for a referendum to give people the choice on whether they want to stay or go. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. And these people are leading Saskatchewan Party and Daniel Smith's party right now. Those aren't the parties that would be in charge if a referendum happened. It would basically be another party on top of that. So right now, Daniel Smith is still representing Alberta. Scott Moe's representing Saskatchewan, but we need somebody it's another party that's formed on top of that to go forward. So it's a lot of work ahead of us. None of these people right now are on the schedule for independence. It's something that has to be pushed to the people in a referendum, and then we move forward as that. So Scott Moe kind of lost me a little bit during COVID there, October 1st, I guess, 2021, in his decision to implement the vaccine passport and, his push for the vaccine, that one really turned me off about Scott. And I have had a hard time looking at him since. He's getting there, but it's still like, I need somebody needs to be held accountable for the way they treated people in this country during those times. And there's been no accountability from any elected official yet. And until there is, mainly me, I can't move forward on that.
You have to remember what they did. You have to remember. You cannot forget what they've done, because under pressure is when you judge people. When everything's good, it doesn't matter what you do. It's when shit hits the fan, how did you act? And that's one of the reasons why I will never be a fan of Pierre Poilievre, because he was for the vaccine mandates. He said we weren't getting enough vaccine fast enough. I can't forgive that. No matter what, I'll never be able to forgive that. I'm just not aware enough of Saskatchewan provincial politics, since it's not the province I live in, so I don't really follow it. But I'm curious to see how that goes, because it seems to be a very common understanding in the West now that there's no way forward as part of Canada, and I get it. I really understand. I understand why you guys would want to separate. I get it, and I think it's the right thing to do. I really think that's the only way out too. So,
well, it's a conversation, right? And I think that's the most important thing, is we need to have this conversation with people. People need to get educated and ask questions, ask a lot of questions. Go to the town hall. Saskatchewan Prosperity Project on Facebook has a page. They're advertising all their town halls right now all across the prairies. Just go listen. That's all you can do. That's your part.
Does that mean that Big Red is going to change name? I'm just kidding.
I'd probably get shot if I took that symbol off the side. I've been so frustrated with this country at times in the last few years that I've thought about pulling that off, and I've mentioned it to a couple close friends, and they've all come back and said, no, leave it that way it is right now. That's a piece of history, and it was involved in something. Leave it at that for now, and I'll leave it like that. I think I'm going to wash her up probably tomorrow and put her away for the winter months. It's seen enough salt already this year, and I'm already having problems with some of the lights on it, so that means that's its time. Put her in the shed for the winter and get it out of the salt, and I'll bring it out in April again when she's ready.
Chris, again, congratulations. I'm happy you got to keep Big Red. I'm happy that your problems, at least for the time being, are done, that you get to enjoy your family. Thanks for joining us last minute, because I don't know why I didn't ask you this on Friday when I wished you congratulations, but I asked you 10 minutes before 8 today. So thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. Keep me up to date, man, with what you're doing in Saskatchewan, because that is one thing I follow extremely closely, what's going on in Alberta. That's something that Rob and I we decided to speak about this so that the East is informed, because we're both from the East, but we understand the importance of what's going on in Alberta. And now if Saskatchewan turns that over as well, that it becomes something, we need to.
The media not going to address it properly, right? So someone has to.
Well, no, I appreciate it, guys. Anytime you want me on, just reach out. You got my number, and it was really good talking to you. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. We're in right now, so make sure you say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, brother. 100%.
Yeah, thanks
Merry
for your time,
Christmas.
Chris. Merry Christmas to you.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Chris.
See you, everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Night.
Bye.
Have a great night.
There you have it, man.
Yeah. Always great to have Chris on the show. I like him. I like the guy.
He's just I can't help
guy,
from liking him. He's just a regular dude, just a hardworking guy. And
no doubt.
I hope I get to shake his hand at one point, because supposedly he's a big boy. Like he's a big dude. Farmer dude. Like yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can see
corn-fed farmer type. Yeah. Fucking just throwing bales of hay from when he's 10 years old, fucking into the truck.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was cool because I congratulated him on Friday, and I asked him tonight. I'm like, hey, do you have time? I'm like, a guy's gonna try. Do you have time tonight to show up? He's like, no, I have an interview, but he still showed up. So he's a good dude. I just really enjoyed the guy. He's a good dude.
Yeah, no, he. Good on him. I guess he's got time in his hands now. He's got some house arrest, but he clearly doesn't have to go out and give us his time. So I appreciate that. I pretty much bring us right to quitting time. Suppose we'll put end on a high note and put a pin in there, unless you had something else you wanted to.
Before we do, I need to speak about our sponsors. So tonight's episode of The Political Orphans is sponsored by Gabble, the world's first live video debate app on the market. You can choose to sit back and watch others debate, but if you have the balls, you can jump in and debate others. You just need your cell phone. There's 10 topics every day, 3-minute rounds. You get to debate other people. You pick a side and you debate. And we're going to make the first live event on Tuesday. So I'm going to be debating a lefty. So as a conservative that's gone on. Yeah. He's a guy from Jubilee Media. We're discussing it right now. We're almost done. Okay. We're going to address 3 topics. We have an idea of what 2 of them are. We're just waiting to agree on the 3rd one. But he's a guy from the Jubilee Media's Common Ground, so he's been on massive platforms too, just like I have. So it should be interesting. But he's definitely a younger lefty, and I'm an older conservative. But I always remember the saying, right? If in your 20s you're not a liberal, you have no heart. But if you're not a conservative in your 40s, you have no head. So I always think about that saying. Yeah, but that's it. If you guys want to support, if you guys want to support Gabble, because it is our official sponsor, just look in the description below. There's our affiliate link where you can download the app and join us. But on Tuesday, 6 p.m., I will be debating a lefty on their platform, and you get to vote. That's what's cool, right? people
cool.
listen, they vote, and then AI breaks ties. They decide who won if they need to do a tiebreaker. But yeah, I'm happy Chris came. I'm happy he came. He's
always glad to have him on the show, and he's always welcome back. Of course, he's the audience. I was watching the comments. I think the audience definitely appreciates him. Dino says great interview, and there's a bunch of other great comments there. So yeah, it was nice to have that as a sort of little surprise halfway through the show. Guys, and as Bullshit Detector says, Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. It is ridiculous how you can't say that these days, eh?
Oh, you can. Merry Christmas. I think it's pretty clear. I'm a Christian, so Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy Jesus birthday. See, there you go. Let's piss people off. Happy baby Jesus birthday. There you go.
Happy Jesus Day. All right, guys. Great start to the week. If you're just tuning in, if you're new to the show and you want to support the show, please consider becoming a member. You can do that through YouTube for the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also support us by buying us a coffee in your upper right-hand corner of your screen. Other than that, excellent start to the week. We're going to catch you guys tomorrow night. We have, who do we have tomorrow? We've got guests, right?
I'm trying to book the food professor.
Yeah.
He told me he offered tomorrow. I'm just waiting for him to confirm, but we should have Sylvain, the doctor food professor.
He's great. I love having him on too. He's great.
But he's the main expert on our food system in Canada. He's the one that broke the story about Health Canada trying to pass clone meats without labeling it so that it would be sold in our grocery store. So he's the one that broke the story. We all heard about it because it was him, but he's going to join us tomorrow to speak about the new demands of the U.S. when it comes to CUSMA, that they want to have access to our dairy market. But in order to do that, that means we would need to put a stop to our dairy cartel, or our supply management, as they like to call it. And do you know, I was looking at it, I did some research over the weekend. The dairy cartel is costing us 30 to 50% more. So our cheese, our milk, every dairy product that we have in Canada, we pay 30 to 50% more than the US does, because of our supply management. And that's on top of the fact that our farmers are not able to produce as much milk as they want. They have quotas. And remember that video I showed on the show where the guy's just dumping thousands of hundreds. It was crazy. So we're going to be here tomorrow to speak about it. And for the people that never been on the show, this is one of the things that we do here. We take suggestions for show, because it's one of our, it's Wilf, one of our proud members, I guess you could say. He's always here. He texted me over Facebook and he's like, hey man, we should talk about this. Okay, so we're gonna do it tomorrow. So reach out. My info at nicolagan.com. Just reach out, leave a comment. We always look at them. So thanks for everything. Thanks for listening. And
yeah, absolutely. Other than that, guys, you definitely do not want to miss that show tomorrow, because it sounds like it's not set in stone yet, but it sounds like we're probably going to get the food professor. So it's going to be another excellent show. And we'll catch you guys then tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Peace.